Good left hook. That wobbles Alante's Fox early, and Andrade's going to work, looking to see if he can get a first-round knockout here.
Punch out, let him go,
Let's see what the response is from Fox. With the lack of experience, does he hold, does he clear his head, or does he try to fight back when he's not all the way back mentally?
I like the way Andrade's going straight to the body, or at least he was.
Well, we always see Andrade as the taller guy, properly using his range. And sometimes that leaves fans with the impression that either that's the only way he can fight, or that he's not a very exciting fighter. But here against a taller, rangier fighter, he's bringing the fight right to him.
All right, so it seems that Fox has survived the initial assault after having gotten hurt by an early punch from Andrade, and now they line up and face each other at center ring.
This is a key moment for Fox, who came into this fight saying all the right things. Him and his team felt like they were ready. You get hit with a shot like that, now you got to answer some questions for yourself.
Andrade focusing on the body again as he drives Fox back toward the ropes.
Work out. That's it.
Combination, good uppercut from Andrade.
Guy's a 6'5" middleweight. Bob Foster was a very tall, rangy, light heavyweight champion.
I think he was 6'4", though.
6'3".
6'3".
Yeah. And you think of tall middleweights, Tommy Hearns, welterweight, was freakishly tall, 6'1", 6'2". But he was also very tall for a middleweight. Michael Spink's a very tall, light heavyweight, 6'2", 6'3".
Keith Holmes was a tall middleweight.
Right,
I don't think he was 6'5".
And none of these guys were 6'4", 6'5" middleweight.
Yeah. Very rare. If not one of a kind.
Even though Fox has a good shot from Andrade again. Even though Fox has a height advantage, he doesn't always use it. You'll see him leaning over his front foot, and that's why he's getting hit with some of the shots he's getting hit with right now. He sacrifices his height.
Andrade, as I said, he's getting to show a side of his game he doesn't often get to show. You can see he's a well-rounded fighter.
Leaning your chin out over the front knee, beyond the front foot, is an outstanding formula for getting yourself knocked out.
Every time.
Good hard left hand upstairs by Andrade. Andrade had a good round. Didn't get the first round knockout he was looking for, but dominated the round against Alante's Fox.
So we know he can't take your power, okay? So let's not rush anything, okay? Let's circle him from the right side. You're circling too much from the left side. Go both sides, okay? That jab comes up, slap it down. And don't forget, you got that left hand and lock that right hand in, all right? You pick which one's going to work, all right? Take your time. Relax.
This is the big shot that we saw Fox get in trouble with early in this fight. Just an overhand left from Andrade, and the chin of Fox was right in the air, and Andrade took advantage. Another angle right here. Fox's chin right in the air. Andrade having the experience that he has. He looked down and shot high, landed right on the chin.
Just a perfect shot.
Tall as Andrade is, how often does he get to throw that overhand left? But against a taller fighter, you see he can do it in a big moment and land it hard.
Yeah, he's very versatile. He's going to be what he needs to be in that boxing ring. Be it a boxer or a fighter, and tonight he's got to fight a little bit more because of the height advantage of Fox.
There are fighters whose overall athletic quality you might question. It isn't necessarily a requirement for somebody to be a great athlete to be a competent fighter. Andrade is an athlete. You look at him and you realize he could play a variety of different sports. Has great legs, a lively upper body, strength and flexibility. Ooh. Lands a 1-2 there. Very effective.
You already see a disparity in experience. I can see Andrade setting certain things up, and I don't think Fox sees what Andrade is trying to do.
Andrade, as an amateur, had wins against and winning records against Keith Thurman, Austin Trout, Danny Jacobs. I mean, a blue-chip amateur. And Fox, you saw when he got hurt with that left hand in the first round, gave it away. Not only did he stumble, but he actually said, whoa, a mistake to let the opponent know how badly he was actually hurt.
Not only did he have an amateur win against Keith Thurman, he beat him 3 out of 4 times that they met. Also beat Austin Trout. You mentioned Daniel Jacobs. He had a win against Sean Porter in the 16-year-olds. Andrade beat most of the big names he's ever faced.
Simply put, he's a winner.
And undefeated as a pro.
We saw the success Andrade had early on with the overhand left, and I think that's the shot he's trying to set up. Once again, he just landed it right there, but he's trying to set it up by hitting Fox to the body, making him go to sleep, and then coming over the top again. And again, I don't know if Fox sees what's going on right now.
And you pointed out on that first big shot, Andrade, how he looked down while throwing up. He also looks up while throwing down a lot. Right. He's very good at using his eyes to look the opponent in the wrong direction.
Those are the nuances of the game.
He's been inactive in recent years because of emotional issues. A fighter like Andrade, who relies on timing because he's a very well-rounded boxer, needs to be active, particularly at this age where he's entering his physical prime. See the timing, his timing right now looks much sharper than it has recently because he's been more active. Second fight this year for the first time in a while.
First time since 2013.
About 10 seconds, it's for the bell, no punching after the bell.
Andrade tried to set up one big left hand to finish the round. Landed it, but not with the effect he wanted. November 4, Boxing After Dark returns for fast-rising light heavyweight Dimitri Bibol's matchup with Trent Broadhurst of Australia. 1 week later, it's triple-header action, headlined by Daniel Jacobs' matchup with undefeated Luis Arias. Be on the lookout for Daniel Jacobs' My Fight in the lead-up to this one. And on Thanksgiving weekend, it's the ring return of Sergey Kovalev, who takes on Vyacheslav Jabransky at the theater in Madison Square Garden.
Right? Yes, sir. You got to bait it into your right hand.
Just shake it out, man. Shake it out, man. We working through this,
Both fighters
man.
are trained by their fathers.
Get this jab going on, man. You gave away 2 rounds. All right? Let's get back.
Blinking every time you get
Fox's father tells him he's given away the first 2 rounds. Andrade had something to do with that.
But those rounds weren't given, they were taken.
We have a new measuring system which shows us that Andrade controlled the center of the ring for 60% of the second round. What does it mean to a fighter to be able to control the center of the ring, Andre?
You gauge distance and you understand what range you need to be at to be successful, and that comes with experience. That comes with years of having an extensive amateur background and having a good professional career, which Andrade has. And again, Fox doesn't know how to offset what Andrade's doing. Like, Andrade's doing everything he wants to do. When he wants to throw to the body, he throws to the body. When he wants to look him off, like we talked about earlier, he looks him off. And Fox just doesn't have an answer right now. Doesn't mean he won't have an answer, but right now I don't know if he has one.
Controlling the middle of the ring also means you need to take fewer steps than your opponent does if he's on the perimeter. Being in the middle as opposed to being on the ropes also means you have more options in terms of where you can move, making you a more powerful fighter.
And Andrade's also controlling the center of the ring because Fox is a natural counterpuncher. He doesn't necessarily want to come forward. You would think him being the bigger fighter, the taller fighter, that's what he would want to do, but it's the opposite. He's a counterpuncher. He's not interested in pushing Andrade back.
So to a certain degree, this is a giveaway. He's not even attempting to stop Andrade from controlling the center of the ring. I mean, nevertheless, when we look at the 2 fighters in this position, we give Andrade the advantage because he's controlling the center of the ring.
That's right.
And you can fight on the perimeter and still be controlling the center. It's a question of what your intention is. Are you doing to the other guy what you're trying to do?
Hard body shot by Andrade. This time he throws it to the solar plexus.
Here Andrade is doing what he wants. He's initiating.
And Fox has the temperament. I loved his temperament yesterday in the fighter meeting. And if you know anything about him, he's a very well-rounded, grounded young man. He's not afraid of Andrade. He just doesn't have any answers. He doesn't have the experience to offset what this man is trying to do to him.
Well, we've already told you about the amateur record, and the point there is that Andrade has been fighting for years now against the kinds of guys that Fox is hoping to fight against. Andrade is really the first person of this quality level that Fox has been in the ring with.
And it's a heck of a guy to have a step-up fight against.
The way Andrade is throwing some of these bombs, Andre, he's like, not that he's gunning for a one-punch knockout, but it's the kind of fight where he might get it. He's in against a tall, lanky guy, and he's throwing some real big shots, and sometimes he's landing precisely.
Yeah, he's landing often, and I think he is looking for a knockout. He understands that the clock is ticking, and he understands that this is not his debut. He's been on HBO before, but this is kind of a reintroduction to the fans. He wants to go out with a bang.
Two live fights here at the Turning Stone. The next one will be between Jezreel Corrales, there on the screen, and Alberto Machado. Corrales, who failed to make weight yesterday and therefore lost his 130-pound title, made another seemingly bad decision to dye his previously blonde hair red. I think it looked better blonde. But at the end of the day, maybe he wanted to penalize himself after failing to make weight. This was a good penalty. Meanwhile, here's Alberto Machado of Puerto Rico, dedicating the fight, of course, to the troubled people of his island home as they battle to try to come back from the ravages of the hurricane. They are on Machado's mind, as is his baby boy, born just a short time ago. And now we're ready for round number 4 between Demetrius Andrade, there on your screen, and Alantez Fox. And let's bring in our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman, to find out how he scored the first 3 rounds. Harold?
Okay, Jim, I got a 3-0, 30-27 Demetrius Andrade. Jim, I got to point out a couple of things. Number one, Alantez Fox keeps circling to the right. It drives me crazy because he's walking right into that left hand. Look at which way he's going. He's going to the right. He's doing it the whole 3 rounds, driving me absolutely nuts. When you go to the right, you're going to get nailed by Andre's left hand. And Andre's got a powerful left hand. He's a southpaw. Number 2, for a guy that's 6'5", why don't he snap the jab? For God's sake, he pushes the jab. If you're 6'5", snap your shots. Number 3, Demetrius Andrade got a heck of a right hand for southpaw. Look at the way he snaps that right jab. Terrific right jab. 3-0 Demetrius Andrade.
Reason Fox circles to his right, counterclockwise, which is incorrect usually for a southpaw. It's really a retreat for a southpaw. Is because Andrade is able to establish his outside foot outside of Fox's outside foot, forcing him in that direction. Or encouraging him to move in that direction.
That's point 1. And one of the reasons that Andrade has such a good right jab is that he isn't a natural southpaw. He's a natural right-hander who fights in a southpaw stance. So that's yet another advantage for him.
Exactly right.
Andre, we're seeing more and more and more as time goes by of fighters who start out in the sport putting the stronger hand in front. Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, we've talked about guys like that for years. Now here's Andrade, who puts the stronger hand in front. Michael Moorer did it. It seems to be something that helps a lot of fighters.
It can. I mean, if you look at me, I'm a left-hander, but I fight right-handed. You know, that's why
you're yet another one.
That's why my
stronger hand in front.
Always made more sense to do that. It's one of these quirks of boxing culture from the beginning, that your power hand is behind, because 75% of your shots are thrown with your lead hand. Why wouldn't you make that your strong hand?
That was the thinking when I first walked in the gym and got with Virgil, and he came from the school of boxing where nobody wanted to fight at southpaw. So that's why he turned me around, and I think we did a pretty good job. It worked.
Oh, you did a very good job. We can go over your record at some point if you want to know.
Good combination from Andrade right there. 2-punch combination. The challenge for Andrade going down the stretch is to not let this fight stay like this for the duration of the fight. Is to slowly pick it up, search for dominance, and try to get Fox out of there.
Oh, good hard left hand by Andrade. That one might have wobbled Fox just a tiny bit. Okay, on his feet now, and the round comes to a close. 4 rounds in, mostly all Andrade so far.
You're not going to win like this, man. Well, if you know, then let's do what we need to do. Give me that water. That's what we need to do, man. Throw your punches. 1-2s. Stop trying to land one shot. Use your feet. What you train for? Get over there. You're gonna make him run into something. You make him run into something.
All right, so you got his reach down now. That's the important thing. And when you can, start banging that jab of his away. Nice pack. Inside of out. All right? All right, legs good? Everything good? Take your time.
Now as round 5 begins, let's return to the subject of ring movement. Our ring movement graphic now shows us that Andrade, through the first 4 rounds, is circling right twice as often as he circles to his left. And by doing so, he's forcing Fox to split his circling left and right 50-50. This is another element of ring generalship. In which direction do you circle, and to create what effect on your opponent?
Well, when a southpaw fights an orthodox fighter, there's several reasons that the southpaw wants to circle to his right, and the orthodox fighter wants to circle to his left. One of them is it's better positioned to land your backhand power punch if you can establish the outside foot. Another is the natural motion of throwing a jab when you push off your back toe. As a southpaw takes you in a counterclockwise direction, and as a righty in a clockwise direction. So if you're moving away from that, it's because your opponent is usually forcing you essentially to retreat, and you're not able to snap the jab as well.
I think if Fox has any chance to get back into this fight, he's got to pick up his jab, and he's got to be more offensively assertive. Even if he risks getting caught, he's going to have to give himself an opportunity to try to get back in this fight.
His father put it very simply between rounds: you're not going to win the fight unless you throw your punches. You've got to throw your punches.
I think, Andre, your point at the end of the last round is right on the money. Everyone knows Demetrius Andrade can fight. They know he can box. Everyone knows he's world class that way. The reason he hasn't set the world on fire in boxing circles is because sometimes a guy who is outclassing his opponent seems to the fans to not show passion. Why should he? Why does he need to? He's winning the fight. And fans like to be inspired. They like fighters who take some risk when they pay their money for the ticket, when they set aside time to watch.
Punch out, work out.
Andrade scoring a knockout win here, I think, would establish that in the fans' minds.
It would be huge, because another thing that suggests an absence of passion is fighting only 4 times in 4 years. Fans want to see fighters who want to fight 4 times in 1 year.
And I don't think Andrade didn't want to fight in those cases. I think obviously there were things that were out of his control from what I understand. But to your point, Max, he is showing passion and he is taking risks. But again, to the layman fan, it doesn't necessarily seem like that. So you're right. He wants to get a knockout. He wants to get, just an exciting performance where not the hardcore boxing fan, but the casual boxing fan or the casual sports fan can relate. Exactly.
CompuBox numbers in this round so far: Andrade has landed 15 punches to only 2 for Alantes Fox.
I got 10 seconds.
Took a shot right there. Just missed it.